mukima nabika gukumanya na gukurentera igoika chinso 12 cha Maragoba chigosori ime ya Ndizi TV.
Omokene no karanda ukaribie stera nyago seta. Omokene no karanda ukaribie njera nyago seta kaingucha kainkoronga. Kureya.
Chingigikero cyumugusi n'umurobyo bw'igikoro cyumugusi uyuri n'ikirenga ikigukumanya chimbwe cyumugusi chingencho chinsoni amunoboroso bw'umunyagitinga
yo bakomanye nagiango era abana bamura bakapekirwa service egesara tekyumungo mukabachegesa mukakonya kubateye manganayo no mungina nero karansana abandi ari nyumba manyase ba karansite naro bakomye abayiseke
abaganga abari kunyara baraseme ino
umuralia Vincent Onyancha nigo isaransiri n'abamanyi b'ikigusi iriwo konyoria kogosemia na gukumanya iguru y'ichinyiga kirecho
chingekero cy'umugusi agano tokuriga yamange tokwana mange kera tokwanira igoro ye chingekero cy'umugusi twesemye kigusi na kebinto byare na kebinto bire
twari tarikinere kira ritukulia la misi chinse ibiri cyabutuko na boigo moiroro ritukulia juma chinse isano na ibiri nejideke 15 chia mugaso
tunde baba ngai tenga kitoke moyo.
na gukuanire handonzi asobereto mwancho murigereria Ndizi TV hase Maragoba yabono nechinga kichinde na ngukwariganiya SMS ito ya mangana Amayia Ensa Eyemo yabono Maragoba elitokumanye halitobereto kwariganire korwase mambia lenge ntambe wekachinse chigabono chiyabono Maragoba chitarikini 15 nemo mutenyi oikomina kabergo sege sunte kyamasaba omwaka bwechiri bubere na 20 noyo mubuna butambe chitarikibune chialero omutenyi buno yorerege ntekebego seke yankyanyareteke kolekana bunabono aso mwaka bwoli bweyemo chimia isana 335 1835 asensemo ya New York nigo umureke bemberi onyarete ko gosambe binte binge umuribu ogete asama tukabero otalikolima abwase chimia chechinyomba chia yete nabaigo enibe nyinge eyakete ko bachi pound chimilioni 20 yanyarete kego saligwa ayo na yakolekana tasenga keyo kolende arali yakolekana litukolia na kwaligana nkomanya senchira yobo ikiranu literiane nkorko Vincent Onyancha. Aseli bwako ya sansa murana nigo togo chaka litukulia lero nigo omurai wenso muskuru Kenyatta aikirana asensemo ya Nairobi eliko nyara guchengere miaka 55 kurwalina nilia Nairobi lia chakertiwe gose Nairobi National Park lichinga kichio omurai wense nigate abuna nigere byatonyale kolenda chingiti chiro sana neba igo chiganrete go leto busaga ni ase chinsemo au omulike ito ubwa mangana ya Brighton Makoli na roboti urwa senchira yobo ikirano
for the celebration.
Umurai bwense Uhuru Kenyatta nigo bono atebiruna serikali nigendete kubika mirubiri ya bene yekwene keuna bali no barema ngogendera bakonywa ime yense.
I once again reiterate the commitment of the government to do what it takes to continue to improve the lives of persons living with disabilities. We will accelerate the rollout of affirmative action programs and policies that helps break down barriers which hold the persons living with disabilities from realizing their full potential.
Igo ayakwanaya litiko lialero ekero aikirana ase omoyega we merongo ene gukurigereria gosibu gucengera ekiumbe kirigia chagetigu kimanyakarte na National Fund of the Disabled of Kenya asamagajo a Kenya International Conference Center ime yomoji o Nairobi.
Call on the fund to continue to provide unceasingly the required leadership to this noble national cause.
Uhuru ni gatebiruna na mange atakiri gokoreka iri kwena kemuna ababale no barema ngokonyu bare ime yense nigo atogia abarayi bali babeire ase kyombeke asoko beke merubiri abene iri kwena kemuna bali no barema ngogendera bare gosirwa ime yense.
I take this opportunity to thank and congratulate the men and women who have served as trustees of the National Fund for the Disabled of Kenya for their commitment in growing this fund over the last 40 years through prudent investment and visionary leadership. Hongera sana.
Waringoni nigo bogendete gokoreka eri kwenekia buna chinchera chekerero ngokonya chire bali no barema.
But even as we celebrate 40 years of unbridled success, we also note that there is still much ground to be covered. The continuing COVID-19 pandemic, whose containment measures have uniquely affected persons with disabilities in the areas of health, education, and transport, poses a new challenge for us to overcome. And indeed, today as patron, I do call on the fund to establish a framework that supports research, technology, and innovation that not only meets the present challenges faced by persons living with disabilities, but also the potential challenges that may arise in the future. This would include sponsoring, hopefully, an award for our universities and other institutions of learning in the fields of engineering and the sciences for students and faculty that generate ideas, helping in breaking barriers faced by persons living with disabilities.
Boigo murai bwenze ni goikerana ase National Bank ya Nairobi asibona atebina chingi chiro sana nebinto biribito tanene ni go byagerire nse itu ya Kenya yanyorire botenengu obotindi.
Opened over 7.5 decades ago, when Nairobi was still a very small, sleepy settlement, into what it is today, a vibrant city that is a continental hub, but also a regional gateway. And as Nairobi has grown, this park has remained a place where residents and our international visitors can engage with nature against the backdrop of a bustling metropolis. Kenya today prides itself as having a thriving national park system.
Igonigo arurige kurege tindi gochi abantu bali bagendete goita chingiti chiro sana na konia ebinto biri bigotoka kurwase chingiti.
We're all aware that threats still abound, from poaching, habitat fragmentation, as we heard from Najib, and also habitat degradation, changes in land use, human encroachment, but also the adverse impacts of climate change.
Murai wense ni gatebe na serikali ni genda takobeke merobero ya bene eri kwenekia bune bintu byonsi bitwetana ine ngole ndubire ime yense.
We are trying to alleviate some of these challenges. We have increased, as you've heard from Najib, our own national budgetary allocation to environment and wildlife conservation, and we shall continue to increase our support for the conservation agenda.
Ngoli boteria igitaseni Candice TV eredariane
Brighton Makori yamuno asoro botirwa senchira yoboikirano Brighton Makori togotigana nera Brighton Makori omurai ose omutenene nabo igo mwaziri bobulendi waime Dr. Fred Matiang'i igatebire bunorongo rwa gusindo bwenete kubwatesigwa muno asensemo yegisemi utalra asensemo ritukulia rero igabo lya bwatani bonsi kubwaterana bunencheremo yokunyara kwenekia inachizukuru ngosirwa kireka ukona kurwa sizukuru yabo iseke ya Sirongase county ya Nyamira nigo Matiang'i ate yabuna gusi ngati yechinsemo chibwenta kubwatsigwa nebirasi kwagachwa na kweneki na magacho na isane asichiskuru au.
We need to work harder and increase the capacity of the schools that we have around here. That's why I'm grateful for the work that is going on in the county. I am grateful to the chairperson and the board members of Tombe Girls for the work they are doing, and we are doing together. The principal at Tombe Girls, the work that is going on there, for which I am part of, and I am very grateful. We need to do more work to support our schools so that we can create more capacity for our sons and daughters to go to school. I know the boys' schools equally are facing that pressure. Nyambaria Boys has been doing very well, but now there's need to think about another school and another one so that we can accommodate our children in schools. So I'm grateful that we are taking this step today to build this institution, to build the multi-purpose hall and increase the capacity of the school. I want to pledge my personal commitment and involvement in this project. I know that now, because we are facing elections, the IBC has warned us that we cannot conduct Harambes lest we risk being disqualified from running for public office. Lakini tutatafuta namna na tutajipanga. You will not walk alone. We will walk with you to ensure that this facility is complete. And since we have agreed that we are going to be partners, I like working hard. I work hard on my assignments. I want us to complete it within the 2 years that you have said. We will complete it by the grace of God. We will prayerfully make the sacrifices that we have to ensure that we give our children this beautiful facility that we are seeing here.
Togotigana no roboti rugoche ase roboti ronde abantu bane basiria magimabo engakibali kwenda somo jega Bwenyangi ensemo ya mwingi kutoka se county ya Kitui ase oboraro bwanzio bane yabantem emeronge 3 na batatu basiritia magimabo igo banyara ko enigwa ase litukolero bana abuni go bakurwa senkeyemo abo bali abasubati babere amo na bana babo asomo yigo yokolekana litukolero nigo abanyene benkejo bate abuna serikali ya county ya Kitui denyalete ko abwatisia buna konyora yabachikire abo litangani amenye benseme yuni go baganire serikali kane kibuna nkorosiro boraro bwenzio abwase egali bali nete aina ye basi kumukia bantemeronge 5 no yomo yanyarete kogwa aso rochero na bantu konyara gusiria amagibabo igo bana babure serikali go swagati na konyara ko bakonya ekerokeli ya mochiwe kirage.
Kama wakaaji wa Ndoni, sisi tunasema hiyo ndaranje ijengwe na hii ifike kikomo kwa ajili ya kupoteza wapendwa wetu. Lakini sisi hatuna shida, tumezika watu wetu na tutaendelea kuwazika kulingana na yale yalitendeka, sababu wakati mwingine ni mapenzi ya Mungu.
Maiga jabanto batatogotoka nebinyinyi bya COVID-19 ane nebinyinyi binyabyo Omicron asense ya Kenya omwaziri w'obokene mutaika weni ko banatebira abantu batatoni go barwite chinse chisco abo bagendrete kuligirirwa aso bwimeno nabo ka weni gatebira buna igo bachakira obutuki bwimena ko unengia bose mbanyarete kwambukiria abande binyinyi byo ka weni gatebira buna abantu babwati amachiko yo gutanga kuranda kw'ebinyinyi bya COVID-19 anene ekere nyinyi ebyo bigendrete korandali tukocha selinde anigagocha maiga yetinse emeronge 5 chene kiugotoka nebinyinyi ebyo ebinya bya Omicron abwasense ya Kenya litukoligora yenegeti abantu batatu nense ya Rwanda nense ya wanga konyole binyinyi ebyo asabantu batano no yo mobile kiugotoka nebinyinyi bya Omicron ya COVID-19.
Omicron variant among some of the travelers who have been traveling through Kenya, and we have at least 3 cases so far We have a lot of other samples that we are sequencing. So in the next 2 days, I will be able to confirm the spread or otherwise of the Omicron variant in the country. As I had said earlier, what we are hearing and what the information we are getting from other countries across the world are that the variant spreads very, very, very quickly, very fast. The effect of the spread is that if one has been vaccinated, the level of attack is a lot less and the need for hospitalization is limited. So if one has been vaccinated, they are getting chills, a bit of headaches and so on. But so far, what we have seen ourselves and what we have heard from our colleagues from South Africa and elsewhere is that the level of hospitalization is
Go tigana no roboti urutotigare asenseme yo ya COVID-19 karebe nyinyi bya corona bigenda tokonekiwa ase chinsemu anene ebinyi bya Omicron bono omukonyo muwaziri bobulinde waime winigisho igatebiruna ensemo yabasibwani go bagenda tokoneki nkonyora bale chanche yo wekiraboni gakolengana na winiwisho nigatebiruna emerango kianda na isano asemia yabasibwani go banyolre chanche ntangani ya COVID-19 ego chinga kechio amantirogote abuna sensemo ya central abasibwa asekerengo kiemeronge tani totona isano asemia igo banyolre chancho ya kabere ya COVID-19 igane kiribuna umusibwendo wanse wikiwa asechera nigo bona igo chikone kinankole ngware gosena bwate binyebyo ayenta bwate binyebyo anyara ko iwe chanjo ya COVID-19 eli amai wanjerwa kobekwa ase abasibwa bande.
The challenges of COVID-19 have continued to be with us, and we know that in prisons we have a huge population. And one of the things that we have done is to be able to do vaccination. So we must say we are over 95%. Reason why we cannot be at 100% is because there's traffic moving in and out of prison. So when inmates come to prison, the first thing we do is isolate them, then test and make sure that they are negative before they are vaccinated, and then they are let into the prison to mix with the other prisoners. In central Kenya, we have the second dose already done up to a level of 85%. In the other parts of the country, we are yet to start, but here in central, we have done second dose 85%.
Togotigana no roboti urukogenda ase roboti ronde abakagerwa abanyarete ko basamba abangina bane asoko bakagera ko babaroge chinsemo chiamarani nigo asentundende kegambero kyomu cyobosongo gyatuguterare ogosaba kwabo buna bayigurirwe ase cashbell omunache bino monena ase kegambero kyomu cyobosongo nigatuguterare nkanejo nabakagera ubona nigo bagotigara asechera oikekina kyabo kyagambiro nagotegererwa okona chikumanye kurwewa.
And in particular case which you are handling, what has happened has shaken Kenya, has shaken the entire world. Killing of old women is something that we have to make sure that it's not repeated in the country in the future. And this is provided for in our constitution. It is also provided for in international instruments that old men and old women have to be respected, they have to be given comfort, but not to be killed the way this happened in Kisii.
Umonchu murgelia ntagetenko manyibuna nguru chiabamura nchogu egwatimbara. Umuntu bwato balema egentonkeroro arakole kubwa no muntu olebuya. Omurikito kurose county ya Nairobi Vincent Onyancha niga asobwagare atwasyoreiriayo tegatunya roboti oru asenchera yoboikirano.
Vincent Ntereba niga iboletwe ime ya Nyansakia village Chebung'ombe settlement scheme ime ye county ya Nyamira niga iboletubiya atabwati muchandonde bwensi lakini yakerachiwe ikie myaka 3 agatwara omuchando bwa mauga.
Marita na ngoro ku Vincent Ntereba ndo mweborwa Bitige ko Nyansakia village ali Chebung'ombe no ngwe no kinete naona iboletu kindenomo kabisa buna bande Shida ikaba ng'emia ketatu iga amauga nagachaka korege karachaka korege actually nagatumire ngende group crutches kabitiri bana kara mauga chaka korege gachaka ngende group wheelbarrow primary na kairo school ne wheelbarrow ndwara ko na access ko kara wheelchair na iro school ne wheelbarrow na ande na irana
tereba nigo asomete buya ase skuru yoboroso nelia ye secondary
Bona gembwate miaka 26 primary ni nyado some skuru ko kuna sakya TP primary jire angananga no somete ganda secondary ko kuna nyansiongo sentikisito no ngorote kuru form 1 mpaka form 3 asingenje ya background tinje kuna ro ko form 4 ro ukachenje secondary ende kurukunga sosera secondary school na ngore te form 4 yana
ebiasale ebi bya Vincent Ntereba nigo bibwate obulemeru obonene na niga gusabya serikali ebaye bali babwate obolema obokonyi boisaine na nigo akorwa egekurira buna abantu mbale bagochocheria obolema elio kwerigeria obokonyi
kwande school na bali challenges umubuli ga kambo go iro mbe kange na njera abana bagaitire nande bono abana karbaji abana abande tu asomete tinsomete school ya disability somete school ya namo abana bakaranga mata abana ko bakinire mbarba manye tenga nkikire takere ko na bakambo ine kwir barwa nge school nande bangirane iko abana mostrimba gankonyire bange school na kongirane
dituko lyo kubayinyora abantu bale no bolema ao ensengima omwaka oyo iga nigo First Lady Margaret Kenyatta atebete buna nige gwenerete abantu bale no bolema ao banyare gokorerwa omubaro boronke eri banyare konyora obokoreri bugwenerete.
Under the theme Leadership and Participations of Persons with Disabilities Towards an Inclusive and Accessible and Sustainable Post-COVID-19 World, we are reminded of our collective commitment to do more to ensure that we leave no one behind. To this end, I urge for increased investment in registration and data collection mechanisms to advance our efforts for inclusivity.
Reporter ya Ndizi TV korwa Nairobi elietaliane ni Vincent Onyancha.
Mbiyamuno Innocent Onyancha mulikito kurase county ya Nairobi gosuka mutogo cha soroboti ronde omurai w'ekyama kya UDA oyiboigore omokonyi omurai w'ense asense ya Kenya William Ruto nigagendrete netaro ya asense ya Western Kenya litukulia rero nigalengase county ya Vihiga kakona kora asense meju ni gurutanya rega kubolia abakenya tiba base wancha gochorero omurai igochinga kecha bolia abakenya wechorera omurai wa magendero urachiko bakonya anena sobo chorio bonene buli bosio ni goruta tebire buna wetrase kyama kya UDA anena somuro buli yo manyakanta buna bottom up economic approach ni gora chiko konya bange anene asobo chorio bonene buli bosio.
Wale mimi nashindana na wao wanalitendawili na wengine wanasema wao wanataka wabadilishe katiba kwanza, waongeze mamlaka ya rais, waongeze vyeo ya viongozi, sijui prime minister, sijui gani, sijui assistant, sijui nini. Mimi nimewaambia mambo ya mamlaka na vyeo na katiba ingoje, tubadilishe kwanza uchumi, tupange ajira ya hawa vijana na tupange biashara ya hawa kina mama na tupange kilimo, tuondoe njaa. Mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Rwanda, nyinyi mnakubali tubadilishe katiba, tuongeze vyeo na mamlaka ya viongozi ama mnasema tubadilishe uchumi kwanza? Tubadilishe uchumi kwanza ndio tupange ajira ya hawa vijana na tupange biashara ya hawa kina mama na tupange kilimo, tuondoe njaa. Mnasema tubadilishe uchumi kwanza? Mnasema tubadilishe katiba ama uchumi? Katiba ama uchumi? Katiba ama uchumi? Wale wanasema uchumi nione kwa mkono, wale wanasema uchumi. Mambo ya uchumi Kenya imekuwa ikipangwa Nairobi, inapangwa na wale wanajulikana, inapangwa na kampuni kubwa kubwa, na inasemekana pengine siku moja ikateremuka ikawafikia nyinyi hapa chini. Mumengojea miaka 50 haijawafikia hapa chini. Nyinyi mnataka tuendelee kungojea ile tumongojea miaka 50 haijafika, ama hii kitu tupindue? Tubadilishe, tuanze na huku chini, ama mnataka tuendelee kungojea ya juu? Tubadilishe, tupindue, tuanze na huku chini.
Mwancho muligereria inyeronsi yaniko gendrete kuyanyora goitera Ndizi TV obwansu bombo kusibu na botambe nabo gotobwate goitera se mtandao yetu ya Facebook buna Ndizi TV News nabo igensemeli ya YouTube nabo gotobwate ya goitera ensemeli ya YouTube buna Ndizi TV News yenyare komanya mange ayito gendrete okwaliganeria asemese ito ya manganamo yetata kogenda omutumo komoke kolinde turachikona ensemeli yento chikokoretera ensemo yobonjereria abwase Brian Sagni Isena arachi gotomana ya gendrete kurwa sensemelia yobonjereria toska kendra gotengera Ndizi TV.
Omwancho muri na weekend nyango kwali ya nyore buna atekerekorwa asemeso yobonchereria nabikokorwa sechichiro chiterera nigongoroka Brian Sagini Isena nako yachaka ni to yachaka ngasa matukapo ngo iganigo amagoliye bintaro kana gago kina kegima egenta abande bagateba nganigo kiagerire ubugima bwakongire itukira rero nigo muri kito Steven Ndemo akole taro ya gwika ase echiro ya nyangusu yogotoka gaiga ase county ya Kisii na gukwara na gutwara engwana ya bene naba na gutwara engwana ya bene naboncherere kuri ensemeyo na gutwara ne roboti rokubwatia
Nigo togoche mase mokorwa ase ensemo ya nyangusu iwe raso mubaga bwe county ya Kisii county ne county ya Narok county abastra chokwa nabo onchori korwa sensemeye enseme nyangusu yagwate biasare binene byechibando ne chingende tomanya nkaiba ko chibande chi nkaiba ko chingende chi na kiamagori ari gakolengani ne county ya Kisii Andake nimba to monchiro moneko rwa sense me ko ni chibando abate leta liaye nkorunse mu yakoro korwa liese gusi no bonchiro lyobo ninkiabo ko kerete nangikilia koni aiga
elieta angoro kubisikira mura ombati lakini bona ngo koreri asara nyangu sai kan transmara wacha ngo ni chingende bona chingende to ko ni chiribusa nemo ebituma bya chiribusa to na 200
ineguni
aiga mbuyere transmara mbuyere ko robuli mimboro nkugura tuli kurworo libituma twaleta twacha konia bali mbara na banene nense yo buli mimbororo abatecha ngurusi bali mugondo batoletera no bonde ngurusi tole ese to baka buganda ngorenda tuli kurworo bali twaenda kurunakuru twaenda kurukitale kirasi twaleta igane center.
Kwa majina naitwa Stanley Maritim natoka eneo la Bomet. Hii biashara nimefanya kwa muda kitu niko na miaka 15 kwa hii kazi. Wakati huu si kama zamani. Sasa kuna competition pale unanunua pale sasa unauza tena kuna competition ya juu sana.
Wengine wanauliza katika eneo hili ambapo mko mpaka wa Kisii County na Narok County. Sehemu ya Kisii na wasaidia sana aje katika uuzaji wa chakula ambayo mko nayo.
Sehemu ya Kisii inatusaidia sana. Tukiwaletea tunawaletea chakula kabisa. Hao wananunua kwa bei nafuu. Bei ya mbolea sasa iko juu ukilinganisha na mapato ambayo tunatoa kwa eka moja. Unaikuta mkulima analima eka moja anatoa kitu kama ikienda zaidi ni 18. Mfuko 18.
Transmara basigari mbaro na iga Kisii nto bwate yito nyanguso bonse na bali tugeta tonyoro mu cyanda na batoko enda Kisii county tokonyoro mu cyanda na batukurangiria abakiri golisi Narok county igabana batubwatira nito bwate problem ngende
mwancho muri bya birengere bya abonjuri bya chibando ne chingene korwa igaso mubaka o Kisii county na Narok county asenseme ya nyangusu asana bagusaba kubwatira na gwa serikali kwene kibine bya sara yabo ngo kinabire abaikeria ngeri yabo yakera lituko Ninko ripoteri ya Seni kia Ndizi TV kuruga sesemo ya nyangusu Retaliane Ndemo Steven.
mbiya mono muri kwiton demo Steven aso gutwariga ni ryo report rikorwa ase chiro ya Nyangusu egotoka aso mubaga bwe county ya Kisii na boigo county ya Nyamira na gutikana nayo mwancho murigereri litkulia ijuma ase alitkulia mosi aso moyo litkulia mapili aso moyo korekete ase ensemo ya uru omwancho murigereri goto saba okwabera umura wense ya Kenya maskiguru mwege Kenyatta ase omoyaga o Jamhuri uyokoregete ase ensemo ya Uru Gardens ase county ya Nairobi nigaro totete na batebanga nigoli estima irache kugwa ase birango bemerongetatu igoro yemya kolende nigatebete gikoje kokoreka ase chintunde ibere abwa sentunde ntangani ya 15 wichigo cha komutenyiga wa 12 na entunde yo moisho se ya 15 yo moelio irache kokoreka ase kwate ntangani omwaka w'ikibere na 2022.
I am pleased to note that the pathway to reduce the cost of electricity by over 30% is on course. In honor of this pledge to the nation and response to the concerns of the high cost of electricity raised both by individual customers and enterprises, I am pleased to announce to the nation that the reduction of the cost of electricity will be implemented in 2 tranches of 15% each, with the first 15% achieved through initial actions focusing on system and commercial losses, and this will be reflected in people's bills in December of this year. A further 15% reduction will happen in the first quarter of 2022. In realizing the second tranche of reduction in power bills, I note that the Ministry of Energy and other government departments have initiated engagement with independent power producers aimed at renegotiation of power purchase agreements so as to give our country better value for money for our consumers. I urge the power producers to demonstrate goodwill as we seek to make our energy sector a greater catalyst of our national development.
Omwancho mulini ngo majigwanga ensemo ya Nyangusu gotoka ase mubaga bwe county ya Kisii na boigo county ya Narok. Omwancho mulini ngo koingoira ntoras chinsa isato kwaletera yuna yanda magakoro ase emensa yo bonchereria tokubwate no mto Vincent Onyancha.
Omwancho mulini maite bono ayons egento to chontebye omungo ire ngoko ni wechiro koko nde chiro ndigeri omungo ante ire ngoko ni wechiro.
Ineta senchi echireria magena na rene tumene bimbere para na boigo chinyeni chiro sirina boigo chibekira chiguni chigona se
chingeni chiguni kaingoira omungo ntagete wanchu muligeri bono gwikira bono to gikomore omungana majya senchira yobo ikira no chikoraga isato chia butuko buna butambe aseri bontera na SMS tunyara ko sansamurena na gukomanya alitwabere to kwaringa nsemo ye mtandao na butambe
tanyora Ndizi TV News na boigo asensemo ya YouTube Ndizi TV News wikachinga kichinde ustogo ikara chinsa isato chabana margoba tanyora SMS ye igaire ni gongoro kwa Brian Sagini
na nche bakondoka Vincent Onyancha.
Ndizi TV.